to the media. We're going live.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I was driving around today. Oh, hi, people. I was driving around today.
I was saying hi to you again, but hi to you, everybody else, too. Go ahead.
I was really bored driving all the way out to basically Pittsburgh, Kansas to fly a site today and then back and hitting several sites on the way. And I was thinking it would be funny, one-time funny, haha, to change the audio of that video from what's playing now to that one song. You know, there's no cock like horse cock. Send your asshole into shock.
I don't know this song. Okay,
it's in a meme that I love, and it's a meme that's got Nicolas Cage and the dude who plays the Mandalorian.
Oh, damn it, my mind just went blank. But yeah,
I know he's a good actor. I completely forget his name. But that movie that they were in together, where they're riding in the car together, and he's looking over and like, all right. And the meme says, you know, when your friend tests the limits of, he listens to all kinds of music.
Oh, here I was looking for chat. Sorry. When you said switch it to another song, my first thing was putting that Cheesecake song on. Have I told you about that?
Cheesecake song? No. Kelly says hi. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. I'm trying to get over to chat so I can because I definitely want to talk to people about Harry Potter tonight. But no, we did a show in Oklahoma a couple weeks ago, and Frankie found an old Louis Armstrong song that is simply just cheesecake, yabba dabba cheesecake, yabba dabba cheesecake. And then somebody behind him goes, cheesecake. And
I feel like I've heard that before, but like almost like a fever dream.
It's an earworm that doesn't go away. And it was
Pedro
so
Pascal.
bad.
Yeah, thank you.
That like on the way home, the guys were calling me on the phone in the car, and they would just go, cheesecake, and then hang up. And so then you're sitting there going, yabba dabba motherfucker. And
kind of like I got that whole Ren Fair going,
that's exactly what I compared it to. I said, this is our new do, because we were doing it at fair and everybody. And I got home and I told my grandkids about it. And then constantly as I'm walking around, every once in a while, I just go cheesecake. So last night we went over to my grandkids, and they're all singing, because I had cheesecake for dinner, and they're singing cheesecake, yabba dabba cheesecake. And it's like, but yeah,
Louis Armstrong, he was the best.
I'll have to look it up and show it. It's definitely a fun earwormy song. But cool. So we were talking before the show. Tonight we were going to talk Harry Potter, because I finally watched all the movies. We'll get into that.
Very good.
I know. It only took me, what are they, 20 years ago they came out, I think. Is that?
So much so that Emma Watson is no longer jailbait.
No, none of them are jailbait anymore. I saw,
by far.
I saw them.
I think they're about ready to hit, their 30s.
Well, yeah, I just saw where they were showing dude. My mind is going so blank today. Guy played Harry Potter, and he's ripping his clothes off, and they're talking about how he should play Wolverine.
Coming around the mountain, yeah.
And that's like, that guy could whoop my ass now. He was a child that grew up with my children. I look at him, I'm like, I ain't gonna touch that guy.
No.
So,
Did you see the one where he's got the guns like nailed to his hands?
The Yo Kimbo or Yo Jimbo or whatever it is,
something like that. Yeah.
It was a weird movie. I watched that one without Chrissy. I was like, you got to go back and watch that.
That's what I enjoy about Daniel Radcliffe, is his name.
Daniel Radcliffe, yes,
is the fact that he's made his money. I mean, he is set for life, so he can take on all the passion projects that he wants. He doesn't have to go through that strange, Samuel L. Jackson phase where he took every damn movie that came his way, even ones that he surely should not have touched.
Well, and most of the stuff he has touched, I haven't watched Swiss Army Man yet, but most of the stuff he's done, I've really enjoyed.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to give all those kids credit in Harry Potter, because, I mean, granted, there's a lot of other kids I've seen videos on and stuff that have done stuff in the movie, but the main characters all ended up being decent human beings for child actors. that grew up in that.
There was no Corey Feldman moment.
Right. I've done shows with the guy that's played Malfoy, the blonde kid, and all you hear when he's around is how incredibly nice and awesome he is, and he'll just come over to people and just hang out and talk shop, and you know
I hear that about the same kid, the same guy who played the kid on Game of Thrones who got poisoned.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently great actor. He was so good, everybody fucking hated him, but he's a good guy.
It's something Gleason. I can't remember his first name, but because I think he's related to Jackie Gleason. I think. If when people start watching, if anybody knows, let me know.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna
comment in the thing and
comment so I know. Oh, there's my live chat. I see it now. Pedro Pascal, Kelly. He jumped in Pedro Pascal. I wasn't thinking, and that's been it's been brain fart all weekend. I was just telling Ash before the show started, I had dental surgery yesterday, so you gotta excuse me if I got a little slur going on. I think I'm good, but my tongue's all over my mouth. But I mean,
Kelly, I would not say that, because even though we love Sean Connery, he'd smack a bitch.
Yeah, right. He would. So. That's English actors versus American actors, big difference. I give you that, but I was also comparing it to and again, my mind's gonna go blank. The guy that played Frodo in Lord of the Rings.
Elijah Woods.
Elijah Woods. He ended up being a child actor that, like almost everything he's in now, I enjoy. And he ended up being somebody who didn't go that dark path.
But, he didn't. But he wasn't really a child. I mean,
no, when he started, he was a child.
Oh yeah, when he started acting, he was a child. Yes.
Yeah, because he's been acting since he was like 4 or something.
Well, hell, if you want to go that route, look at Samwise.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, he was a definite child actor. Was he doing stuff before the Goonies?
Yeah. But in fairness, he grew up with a acting family. Like his whole family came from acting. His
mom, did Carrie Fisher, and she had that fingernail.
Well, I figured it might be people watching over him or something, because his mom was Donna Reed, and his stepdad was Gomez Adams.
Which one?
The original.
Oh, the original?
Yeah.
Okay. From the original TV show?
Yeah.
Okay, good guy.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to look up his family lineage, it is a little fascinating, because he went through life. He pretty much had 3 dads, didn't know who his real dad was for a while and stuff. And he ended up pretty much, if I remember right, having 3 cool dads, where somebody starts off with nothing and ends up with, all a good stepdad role models and everything else.
Well, not good stepdad role model, but somebody who figured out who her dad was and then parlayed that into a career that she's done quite well was Liv Tyler.
I watched a little on Liv Tyler. Like, she didn't find out that
Steven was her dad until she was in her late teens, I think. I mean, right before they made that one video that brought her into stardom.
Yeah.
And made all of us feel like perverts.
Yeah. I'm not going to defend. I was a teenager back in those days, so it was okay.
No, I wasn't.
Wait, you're not that much older. You're only like 2 years older than me.
3 or 4 years older.
Is it? Okay.
I mean, I'm old enough that I was in the Marine Corps when the first Addams Family movie came out. And I thought to myself, even then, the girl playing Wednesday, I was like, oh, she's gonna be a hottie when she grows up, and I am a dirty, dirty Marine.
Yeah. Well, and the sad thing is, the older you get as a parent too, you become a parent and stuff, and then you look at that stuff and you go, oh, that poor kid.
Yeah.
Growing up in Hollywood, because you can tell they're going to be a target, or they're going to be that kind of thing.
Well, look how long it took Drew Barrymore to pull herself out of the stardom morass of clubs and alcohol that she was in. Now, hell, she was going to clubs and drinking alcohol as a 12-year-old. People were just feeding her shit.
Yeah, she was in Hollywood in the 80s, man, back when that shit was encouraged. And And
back when
just
they had a
split the
direct
world,
pipeline to Colombia for the cocaine.
We could literally sit here and describe differences of what it was like just in, God, it was 40 years ago though, but in the 80s
We're
compared
old.
to now.
We're old.
We are old, jam. All right, let's get on some geekgasms and stuff because we can sit here and
aren't
talk.
you close to Tim age?
Huh?
I am the same age as Tim. I do not know.
As which Tim, my brother or Biggin?
I was assuming that he was talking about Cookie, not Biggin.
Because I think Cookie's like a year or two older, maybe a year older than Biggin. I'm not sure. But and then Mac and I are pretty much the same age. Huh? Yeah.
I don't think so. Biggin's older than me, and I'm the same age as Cookie.
Oh, is he? Is Biggin older than Tim? Maybe I had it backwards. Maybe I was thinking the other way around. I don't know. I don't want to sound like one of those guys like I don't see age.
Yeah.
I do. Every day.
Yeah. It's just a sea of gray out there with those guys right now. Yeah. So anyway. I'd like to notice the fact that for my age, I'm the one with the least amount of gray and the least amount of hair.
Yeah, I can see that. I got nothing but gray now, but
yeah, you're in full Santa territory.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. It's sad because the Santa thing's the only thing that's kept me from shaving this winter. I was just gonna shave it down, and I was like, what if I want to do a Santa thing? And then I get offers all the time. I just never want to.
You're looking good with that Count Dooku cut. It looks good on you, man.
Good. I'll keep it. See, Berto said, man, I miss Colombian cocaine. The American stuff just doesn't hit the same. That's a Berto comment. All right.
Cocaine, coffee. Colombia has been responsible for waking up America for decades.
Let's get on to some geekgasms, and we'll hit our geekgasms and a few news things. We won't hit a lot. I will say, for those that are on early, Tsunami Con is this weekend in Wichita. We are going to be there. Matter of fact, the WAGs decided to jump in and help sponsor Mikey Mason being there this year.
Oh, excellent.
So we just always have a good time at that one. And that's one where we get plenty of free time to game and do other things. So Ash and I were just talking before the show. I think we're going to try to do a live feed from there this weekend, hopefully with Mikey. I know Cookie will be there running a couple games. So we're going to try to do something like that this weekend. And then next week, I believe, is the premiere of the new Lord of the Rings anime.
I saw that was coming out.
Yeah, I hadn't brought this up to you, Ash, yet, but Cookie is definitely wanting to do some kind of either review or he wants to do a watch party. I don't know if I'm up for that one, but I would be up for a live review or a live review for sure. Because
that would be a watch party.
Yeah, well, I mean, not live while it's going on, but a live podcast where we review it after the fact. But because Cookie, he's so into between Warhammer and Lord of the Rings, he would just be sitting here the whole time going. I mean, he'd be critiquing as we're watching, continuous.
Yeah, which makes the enjoyment for those watching so much greater.
I mean, I would learn stuff, I'm sure.
Oh, same here.
We can chat about it later, but it will be something we'll be covering here soon. So
yeah, it would definitely have to be something we could pause, because if someone's going to talk through my first watching of something, I might as well just check the fuck out.
Yeah, I'll get that even like with the new Ghostbuster movie or something. I'll just be like, because Marvel movies are almost the worst, where people go with you and then they'll lean over all the time and go, who's that? What are their powers? Do those two get along? And you're like, tell you all in the movie. What they don't want you to know, I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyhow,
let's see here. Okay, what kind of geekgasm you got? I got several things that
I don't have much. I mean, we did all the typical traditional Thanksgiving stuff. I did get on the Ghostbuster front, our Ghostbuster group got our new patches in.
Oh, excellent!
Yeah, they're oversized. They're real nice. I got mine yesterday in the mail.
And it's got a Shaka wheat on it. That's cool.
A Shaka wheat. Yeah. So I'm kind of excited about that. It's going to go right in the middle of one of my patch walls. And then with all the Black Friday sales, of course, I can't say everything that I purchased because most of it was gifts, but a lot of the 3D print places had files on sale.
What'd you get?
I got cheap files. I've already started printing some off. This lighting is not going to do this justice, but I'm holding up a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Oh, yeah.
I printed. I got really detailed files of like all the Ghostbusters. I got Tarna from Heavy Metal. just a couple little nice files, and I think I spent like $8 and I got 30 files or something.
That is nice. What website did you go to?
Most of it was Etsy. Most of those were all Etsy.
Very nice.
A couple other, I couldn't tell you exactly which ones. A couple of the other ones I subscribe to, like Wicked, because like this is a Wicked print that I bought through Etsy because Etsy had a better sale than Wicked did.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time.
But a lot of
I only picked up one digital file. It was from Gambody, getting one of their big ship models. So that's what I got there.
I saw so many cool Star Trek files, and this is what I was starting to say before the podcast. Like, I wanted to send them to you, but if I just sent you 15 files, you'd be like, yeah, I got that. Or, yeah, I don't like whatever character.
Just because I might already have it doesn't mean, the key word here is might already have it. All right. I might not. And now I missed out on that opportunity because you were afraid.
And that's fair. Most of them were not ships, because that seems to be primarily what you're doing. Most of them were like Kirk and Spock, like putting a tricorder or something. Or
I am not confident yet to do any kind of figures like that or any dioramas. Eventually, I'll work my way up to some dioramas and figures, but I am not there yet.
See, I'm the opposite. To me, the dioramas and figures are so much easier, and like the stuff you're doing with the Aztecing and stuff is so much harder, because to me, I'm looking over here in my office at some stuff I painted. Like you can see some of the Ghostbuster stuff I did of the guys that are very realistic. Looks good. I'm very proud of it. And then I did some of the stuff of the animated characters where everything's very monotone. Like there's a blue jumpsuit with brown hair and blah, blah, blah. And it's harder to paint that stuff that's monotone, make it look detailed at all, because it's that way. And those ships are so monotone without that Aztecing, which is a whole nother skill in itself. But to me, I feel like I couldn't do them justice. You would see I guess with all that gray and silver and stuff, it'd be so easy to pick out the flaws in my mind. So I just struggle with stuff like that. That's why if I do something like when I did my full Iron Man helmet, I did the damaged version, because a damaged version has more shading and stuff that you can hide those details with. But here nor there.
Okay, well, but I'm let me see. Like, okay, I've got multiple things on mine. Let me see here. I was telling you that with the Black Friday sales, the wife and I both got new cell phones. I got the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, and they had such a deal going on that with trading in my old Samsung Galaxy S22, which was like on its last legs, it's free. So that was a great deal. Jessica got the Samsung Galaxy Flip 6, the one that's the old Razr phone, but it's got the folding screen. That one, with all the sales and everything like that, is only going to cost us $12 a month to get.
$12 a month for the rest of your life?
No, for 2 years.
For 2 years? Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, that way it stretches it out. But still, it took a $1,100 phone down to like $400.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, actually, like $300. Yeah.
Now I'm glad Christy's not watching this yet, because she was going to come in and talk Harry Potter with us, and she's wanting a new phone. So now we can skip through.
Okay. We'll skip past that. Anyways, been having lots of fun. There's lots of cool stuff this phone does, man. It's just amazing. And I just say that Google with the new Pixel phones has really stepped up their game. It's a really class act phone. It rivals the flagship Samsung and iPhones. I mean, they're all good in their individual sectors, but it's finally a phone that can stand up there with them. So that's a cool thing.
See, I always end up getting something that's just a little behind the times, even if it is new, because I never use all the features. And then people like you and Frankie are always around me going, look at this cool new thing. You should get one of these. But sometimes waiting helps. That's what, like with the 3D printers, I'm glad I waited.
Well, and see, that's the thing. I'm glad I waited on this on the Pixel Pro, because they came out in August. I think it was August or September. And even though I was up for a trade-in then, I wouldn't have got the deal that I did on Black Friday. And since I waited until Black Friday, it's still their flagship phone, and it's the bitch is free. It's good.
He says, "How's the camera?" Kelly said, "How's the camera on Pixel? I use my phone for eBay, and the camera
is phenomenal. It is a wonderful camera. Watch some of the reviews on the camera on the Pixel Pro XL. All right, watch some of the reviews on it. It's able to do the close-in photos, the distant photos, and then when you throw in all of the AI stuff that you can do in the photo editing, it blows you away. The stuff that it can do. I mean, just the portrait mode, the blurring, all the stuff like that. It even has a thing that when you're doing like a portrait set like that, you can decide, okay, I want a light source coming from over here, and it will change the way all the shadows lie on everybody and redo the lighting. It's just amazing photo editing that's involved with it. So give it a look-see.
I saw some commercials like that talking about that. And of course, Chrissy walks in while we're talking about new phones. See,
after that, let me see. I've been working on a new model kit that was. No, hold on. It's a crappy kit, but I've been working on it. It is one called. If you can see this, why do I have the blur? Anyways, if you can see this, it's called Build Together. It is this horrible kit. All right. And I was just doing it because I thought, maybe it might be cheaper. It comes with.
Just because it's Star Trek doesn't mean it's horrible. Ease up a little.
No. I mean, it's horrible because of the missionaries here. Okay. But no, the thing about the kit was it was supposed to be, have a 1/1000 Enterprise in there that you snap together that your child could do, and a 1/651 that you can do. But the thing is, yeah, it is cool. And that kit costs $35, but if I were to buy those two separately, it's $75.
Man, I like the idea of that, and just for $35. Because as soon as you said it, I was like with Warhammer, that'd be a great one where they'd have something like that, because there's parents everywhere trying to get their kids into tabletop gaming, right? Where you could have some square models and some, yeah.
I showed that to my boy, and he could not roll his eyes faster. It was amazing. No, he's not into modeling, but I got
it can come. It's like Gabe. I couldn't get him into anime forever, and then now he.
No, it will never be. He's a sportsy. All right, so I got the first one done, and I am now working on the 651, which is a lot bigger in comparison, and I'm creating videos and putting them online.
Oh, I got to look that up then.
So I just shared the link to it in the feed right now to the playlist that I did on the first 1000. And it's also with that profile are the other playlists for the other ones that I've made, like the Reliant one with all the masking, a refit one, and also a Klingon. No, it was a Romulan, a Warbird, and also the 12500, I think it is, Discovery ship. I've got video series that I've put out for each of those.
How many ships do you have on your wall and shit now? Because
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including the K7 space station, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, working on 21, and that's counting the ones that were like multi-ship sets as one.
Okay, I was going to say I actually figured it was more than that, but that's a ton.
No, I'm running out of space. I need more space to put stuff, and then these bigger ones are going to take up even more space. I mean,
that's the problem I have. It's like I printed up one of my dioramas. It's so big I have nowhere to put it, so I'm keeping it in a box.
Exactly. I mean, look at the size difference on this. And this is the 650. And then after I get done with the several 650 kits I move up to the 1/537th kits. And once the 1/537 kits are done, then I have several 1/350 kits. and those are all 3 foot long.
Yeah, I looked at a couple as you were talking about before. It's that. See, that's where I'm having a problem. Like that diorama I have is 3 foot by 3 foot. There's nowhere. I mean, I could find a place, but then that's like a piece of furniture.
Exactly. I mean, at that point, you might as well just encase it in a plexiglass cube and call it a coffee table. All right.
There you go. All right.
See, I solved your problem.
Yeah.
And your furniture too.
No, because currently my coffee table holds like boxes and shit of all those things that you're like, I gotta save. But
now another thing that I have gone down the rabbit hole on in the last couple of weeks that I think you and Wags would be interested in. All right, are these NFC cards. They're about the size of a credit card and stuff like that, and you can load data onto them. All right, so that when you tap your phone to it, it will automatically put the people's contact information, your contact information, on people's phones. So you can have all the contact stuff for the Scallywags or whatever. All right, and just have it so people just have to tap it and it's there, because people live on their phones now. You hand somebody a business card, your last millennium.
Christy was just talking about these. The last show, somebody was showing her these. And
literally, I picked up a pack of 30 of them for $9. They're infinitely reusable. And the app to put the information on, it's got a free version that you can do most of the stuff with. And for the extra added features, the pro version is $3. All right. And you can load all kinds of stuff onto this.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that, because that's I go through business cards like nobody's business, and then I lose them because my fingers are in so many different little weird things. So,
and see, you can do cool stuff like if you have because you can just like if you have like a sign or something like this, you could like mount, because you can get them not only as cards, you can get them as just the antenna, you can get them as dots or something like that. So you could put it on like the Scallywags flag or something like that, and just tap your phone on the flag and here's our information or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And
I like that.
Literally these come out to like 25-30 cents a pop. All right. So that's a rabbit hole I've gone down. And one other thing I wanted to share that I did last night, matter of fact, it's printing off right now. If you go to Maker World, and let me share it right now, they have a in their Maker World Labs, which is one of the things you can click on across the top. They have it where you can create your own Christmas ornaments. All right.
I've seen a lot of the 3D printing sites advertising their Christmas ornaments lately.
Right, but this one you can actually go in. All right. So like, okay, you go to Maker Lab. All right. And you come down here to Christmas Ornament Maker. All right. And so like here's two that Jessica and I created last night. And like this one, and these actually spin. So if we go to 3D and take a look at this in 3 dimensions. So here's what it looks like. Okay, and it'll actually spin.
For those on the audio podcast, it's just the middle medallion spins around inside of the
yeah, and I created just a simple flat disc Christmas ornament that has a mistletoe on it, and it says Edson Christmas 2024. And you can, I mean, people have made all kinds of really good ones. I'm not good at creating, and there's all kinds of different stickers and text and emojis and shapes, or you can upload your own SVG files and make your own thing.
That was my next question. If I could upload, like even pictures of kids possibly or something. Might be cool.
I believe it's got to be an SVG file, which is basically like
clip art.
Yeah, like these. You see like the snowflakes, the trees. It's this basic black-white file.
Yeah.
All right. But anyways, so I wanted to share that with everybody. Go to makerworld.com, and then you go across the top to Maker Lab, and they have other things that they've created too. Like you can make your own statue. Make a lithophane, make your own desk organizer, keychain, vase and stuff like that. So they have these in there for free, so you can make your own files, download them, and print them off.
That's very cool.
All right.
On a
That's
side
all I
note,
had to share.
Kelly had asked where you get those cards at.
Oh, I just got those off Amazon. Seriously, just type into Amazon NFC. You can go card NFC dot or something like that, and they sell them literally by the gross. All right, you can get the more you buy, the cheaper they get. It was like It was like $5 for 9 or $9 for 30. So it literally gets a lot cheaper very fast.
Yeah, no, I like that idea for sure. I'm gonna definitely look into those.
Yeah.
I had something I was going to say as you were talking about the 3D print ornaments, and like just split my mind. I was going to ask about, but
was it about what was it about my printers?
I can't remember now. My mind just went
Okay.
blank. I do have to ask you after the podcast about resin printers because I've been looking into them a lot this week because everything's so cheap right now. So
I understand.
And also, since Kelly had asked, find you a good He-Man one. I almost sent you a Skeletor this week that was on sale. So awesome, but I didn't know if you'd like it because it was very realistic and had this big cape. It was not animation accurate at all, but it looked fucking awesome. But yeah, I'll send you a couple. I'll print you something up here, man. Then you have to paint it.
Damn straight.
Yeah, because I got a stack of shit to paint. I started.
Oh yeah, I know. I've been in here puttying and sanding because that's the problem. The 2-kit set is of their old 1970s kits that they still have, and still making.
And they still have the molds and stuff. So
right, and these molds are atrocious by today's standards. So I literally have to sit there and putty in every seam and go through with sanding, starting off at 80 grit, working my way down to 1,000 grit on all of these.
I was commenting to Christy on these new Ghostbuster ones I just bought because they had the option of printing them the base and the piece. So the base is one piece, and this was a one-piece print. So
beautiful.
I can print all the guys in one piece. And I was like, the old kits, the vinyl kits and resin kits I used to buy, it'd be 8 or 9 pieces.
Every limb
would be pinned. Yeah. It's a different world, and I'm cool with it. I can live in this world.
It is much different. And the great thing is that, if you wanted to, one other thing I want to show you, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and slice them wherever you wanted to. I wanted to show you, I got done with that Star Destroyer.
Oh yeah. They had the slice options in these as well. I printed the first 2 in one piece, and I was worried, not that everybody on the podcast can see. Oh wow, that's huge, dude. That's
what she said.
And a half long. Yeah, it's huge. It made another man smile. So let's not compare it too much.
I printed this at 145% on the scale, so it came out a little large.
So at 145%, did you lose any detail?
No, it's all right there. I didn't lose anything.
Well, you know what I mean. Like when some of those prints, once you make them big enough, everything starts looking really.
What I did is I went through and I found the biggest singular piece, and I found out how large I could scale up that singular piece and still have it print on my printer, and I could get it up to 145% and still have it print. And so that decided my max scale right there.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I'm in the process of dry brushing it to put some details on it. And then, the stand. You'll love the stand for it. Because the stand... Uh-oh. Okay, never mind. I'll find out whatever that was. The stand, which is here. Hold on. All right, right here's the stand. It's got a flip-up little thing there for that. Cool. It has a little... blockade runner here. Let me see here.
And this is a stand you printed?
Yeah. And on the back, little Millennium Falcon.
Oh, that's cool.
The scale of that, where it would have been hanging off the back of this bad boy.
I like that.
Yeah. But anyway, you were saying before I interrupted. Go ahead.
Just John Kip said, hey, what up? So, hey, Kip, what's up, man? And since we're talking about the prints, I was going to just show you just real quick because I know we got to get on to Harry Potter. I don't know if I'll wait for you to sit down, but
No, it's cool. I'm right
I
here.
tried those is one prints. I don't know if you can see all the hoses and different things in back
Oh,
there.
wow.
All that came out in one print. None of that broke off. None of that.
You didn't have
Because
to
that
run
was my big
supports
fear.
on it?
It ran sports, but the sports, no problem. Because a lot of times when you're doing sports and stuff like that, you know, you got to dig it out and cut. And so whoever designed those prints took the time to think, how is this going to come out when it's printed, not just design it, throw it on there, and then that's their problem.
That's what I like about that Star Destroyer that I got from Fab 365. Is it's designed so you don't print with supports. Any supports that it needs is automatically in the file, not as a support, but as the actual thing that you have to print. So they all easily pop off, and it's all designed in the file.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I've started buying more prints, because you do get designed, higher quality prints, and they're cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but I'm a cheapskate. It took me a while. So,
well, yeah, but you know, it all depends on what you consider worth it, and that's what it takes. It takes it takes a while of printing utter trash. All right, and that's the thing too is when you're going through those STL sites, if they don't have a picture of it printed,
right. It's
only like a Blender model that they put up there, and they don't have a picture of it printed. Screw you! I am not wasting my time.
Yeah, and you got to be careful. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of really great free prints out there, but like last week, I bought a Scooby-Doo print online too, and this was another thing you got to watch about buying prints, because I got it, and like Shaggy, he had two right arms instead of a right arm and a left arm. And Scooby was missing a leg file. So then I wrote the guy back and said, hey, it's a great print. I've already got everything printed but these two arms. And I accidentally printed some of them twice, thinking maybe, you know, and he's like, oh, I'm real sorry. It took about 10 emails back and forth to realize, oh, yeah, but I designed that 2 years ago. So if the files aren't right online, the original files are gone. So now I've got an entire scenario.
Did you get it from Etsy?
Yeah,
I would report it to Etsy. Get your money back.
And I'll get my $2.50 back, which is way less than I spent on filament that I've already printed. But
John Cusack, better off dead. I want my $2.
I'll modify it. I've already printed up some pieces. I'm going to sculpt my own legs and stuff. I've had to do it a couple times, but even then you got to watch that stuff. So if you're paying good money from one, I would get it almost directly from the source. Like go right to Wicked or something.
That's the thing I like about
Wicked. What I said, I had the wicked.com in my head.
Obviously. Oh, which apparently somebody has actually opened up a lawsuit on that one.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's the reason, like, you know, for my files with Gambody, I love them because I've had issues before printing off some of the, you know, some files. And I emailed them and said, hey, what's going on here? You know, this was supposed to be, you know, not have the details on it. You know, it's two different files, one with detail, one without. And they were immediately like, oh, sorry. Within like 2 hours, I had a replacement file, and they had updated the stuff online too.
That's another reason to get something directly from the site like that. Because what little I've done of that, they take care of you. Kelly said he had a case of model paint if any of us are interested.
I've got what kind of paint? Well, but what kind of paint?
Yeah, that would make a big difference.
Yeah, because I'm rocking Vallejo, I'm rocking Tamiya, and I'm rocking Army Painter is my preferred trifecta of paints.
I have lots of different, but I use a lot of Walmart paints because I'm cheap.
And Rust-Oleum.
Oh, yeah.
But that's for bases and clear coats.
All right. We should get on to this because we've already spent half the episode talking. And we should talk about Harry Potter because I knew we were going to talk about it. And I do genuinely have questions.
Okay.
So here's the deal. First off, for those listening, I work in pop culture all the time. I've interviewed people from Harry Potter and shit. I know nothing about Harry Potter. My kids do. Everybody around me does. Same thing with Power Rangers. It's been a weak spot. I've watched some of the movies. Huh?
Please tell me you interviewed Draco Malfoy with no knowledge of it and actually asked him, so what part did you play?
I haven't got to talk to any of the big wigs on that one, but
testers, old school. They stopped making testers for a bit, Kelly.
Yeah, I used to have a bunch of testers, but the oil base and stuff I wasn't big into. But
yeah.
So I finally watched Harry Potter. Decided I was going to sit down, rewatch from the beginning, watch them all the way through. I have not watched the new prequel movies. I have not watched anything.
Oh, you mean the Strange Beast?
Fantastic Beasts, Where to Find Them or whatever. So I don't know. Some of that they may have answered in there. But as I was watching the movies, we were going to Oklahoma. I'm talking to Frankie and asking him who's what, why are these things this way? And then we talked about it last week on here. So I figured this is, or 2 weeks ago. So I think now's the time to ask some of these questions. I don't want anybody to think I'm bashing Harry Potter. I loved them. They were good movies. They genuinely were. But there's this lore behind it, just like with Star Wars or anything else, where everybody's like, oh, but if you read the books. Matter of fact, everybody I talk to, that's the first thing they say. The books are better. You got to read the books.
Always.
You want to borrow my book?
Fact, we talked about this last time that, unless it's a, something written from the screenplay.
Yeah.
All right. Unless it's something like that, the books are always better because they can put more information into a book. And so you should, in my opinion, always watch the movie before you read the book.
I played a little of the video game, and Jake and Rachel were there explaining the lore to me, which I really liked, and it made me want to dive more into it. So I'm going to address these questions to you, Ash, because if you might know them, if you don't, people online, feel free to answer. And we'll just go from there, I guess, because I'm not even looking for in-depth questions. So like one I asked last time was, when does do the movies take place?
Late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, somebody looked it up last time, said late 80s, early 90s. And I was still 2.5 movies away from the end. So I really kept that in mind as I watched. Nobody ever busts out a phone. There is no technology in there past 1960s.
Yeah.
Like you look at a radio, it's a radio from the 60s. You look at a car, it's a car from the 60s.
Not the one, the Dursleys, when the Dursleys are vacating their house, that is not a 60s car.
Dursleys are vacating their house at the last movie? Is that what?
I think it was the last two, yeah.
Okay.
When Hermione pulled her parents' memories and removed herself from their lives and stuff like that, and the Dursleys were taken off, the vehicle they got into was a 90s vehicle.
So then I guess with the exception of that one, which I'm going to go look just because I want to see, but that like nobody references anything, modern at all. Even when you're in the Muggle world, there's one train that looks modern. All the other trains look old. Yeah.
When they had the wand duel in the restaurant in the Muggle world, that was very 90s modern looking Muggles world there.
I'll have to go back and look again. I guess that was just the thing. 1997 is the final movie, Berto says.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That still throws me because I watched those first few movies thinking, and I see that not setting any particular time helps. And also it helps because then people are like, well, why aren't they just jumping on a cell phone? Or why aren't they just going to the doctor? Or why aren't they just, going to the Muggle police?
Okay, for the cell phone action, cell phones are worthless if there's no towers there.
Right.
All right.
But the way I understand it, and I could be wrong here, the wizarding world is all within the Muggle world. It's just hidden by enchantments and different things. So those towers would still be there.
But also keep in mind it was 97.
Right.
All right.
So
is the last movie. First movies were 7 years before that, 1990.
Right. And I didn't mean cell phone specifically. I was just bringing up as a thing as like any kind of modern, nobody's hitting any of those modern things that are available,
Right. Now, keep in mind also, where it takes place at. All right. And
in England,
in England, right. And there are parts of all those older countries where they have sections of their cities that are historical, landmarky areas, and they keep them the way that they were. All right,
Right.
or try to keep them close to the way that they were, and they got stuff over there older than our country.
And that, yeah, I kept that in mind a lot because I kept going, well, this is one reason we always want to go to Europe and see all that architecture and things like that.
Right.
But you'd think there would still be a little more modern somewhere here and there,
Well, not necessarily, because all right, basically what it is, the magical world has not needed to keep up with what the mundane world has, because we created all of our technology in order, basically in order to be able to do what they can already do with magic.
So, okay, that could lead me in my next question here then too. Which I get your point too on them not needing a lot of that stuff, but a lot of them people also live in the Muggle world, right? Like all those kids
look
go
at
back.
Kristen wrote here.
Huh?
Look what Kristen wrote here.
Kristen put, yes, but the Wizarding world also tries to avoid most human technology, like the Weasleys could get in major trouble for tinkering with the car, etc. And that makes sense.
If there is a social stigma not to have it, then you're basically dealing with the Amish Mennonite community.
I could see that, where it's more of just the idea of you using Muggle stuff, because I know that Weasley's dad was ridiculed for working his job, Muggle. Analysis, it was.
That whole, what is the purpose of a rubber ducky? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hogwarts is in Scotland.
Yeah. So they ride the train from England up to Scotland, which would be akin to basically riding the train from Wichita, up to, basically, up into Nebraska.
Yeah. So I said that might lead into the next thing. Okay. So they stay away from Muggle technology. Muggles are trying to catch up with magic in a way. When you watch that, let's say for the 90s, like you watch the schools, I got questions about the schools, but there are so many different schools with different people. There are literally thousands and thousands and thousands of wizards. You look at the Quidditch tournament, there's more people there than the Super Bowl. I mean, it is tons of people. Why the fuck are they hiding from Muggles? And when did that start? Like, shouldn't they be ruling the world? Which I know that's...
I would say it probably started sometime around the Inquisition.
So, but I can see the Inquisition because they're getting hunted. But, I mean, humans don't stand a chance against wizards and witches and shit in this.
Yes, but also keep in mind that they might have been fewer in number back then, and it's only recently that they've had a population boom.
And that's why I'm wondering, because they're hiding that many people. That's a whole culture. Yes. I mean, that's not like a country's worth of people. That is because these people are national. They're all over or international. They're all over the world, right?
Yes.
So to me, it just doesn't make sense that they're hiding at all, and why that is. Which brings me to 100 hiding questions, but Berto brought up a point. And most Muggle tech also struggles to work around high magic. That's a great line for them to throw in there.
That has always been something ever since, back playing GURPS High Magic. When you have mana and technology, they kind of, work against each other. If you try to use something high tech in a high mana area, it futzes out. If you try to use something high magic in a high-tech area with low mana, then it futzes out.
And that's a totally great excuse. And for all I know, it was in one of the movies and I missed it, but I don't know that it was.
This, just like the tent that they were in when they went to that Quidditch, tournament. Mm-hmm. All right. Some facets of the wizarding world might be bigger on the inside.
Yeah.
All right. There could be conceivably rooms of requirement type folds of reality that these people are dwelling in that we just don't see.
And I get that. I get the hiding, which at first I was having a little issue of that, but it's the why are they hiding? Like, are they afraid of Muggles, or do they think that, well, we got to keep, the Muggles aren't as smart as us, so we got to keep them in line. I don't think they should like overtake them and go all Nazi on them. But why are they hiding?
Okay, the fact is that yes, they're powerful, all right, but they are powerful in a very specific, ability. And if most of these wizards, you pull their wand from them, they're completely fucking helpless.
Well, Kristen just said that too. I'm reading the comments.
Yeah,
sorry,
right there. Yeah. Yeah. But that's what made Hagrid so, everybody was like, ooh, he, secretly was the most powerful wizard because he could do magic without a wand. All right. And that's the sign of the most powerful wizards. Most of that society, you pull their wand away from them, they're worthless. But look at how many weapons standard Muggle humans have created in order to take out anything.
I get that.
Yeah. If we make stuff that can take out tigers and bears, you with your little sparkly stick ain't shit to us.
Yeah, I could see that, but they can use weapons too. I mean, Harry could pull out a gun and
but they never do.
Yeah. Last Muggle
there was this really great fan fiction little video that was made some time ago. And you should look it up. I'm sure it's on YouTube. It's called Harry Potter, and you have the Deadly Hollows.
Right.
It was Harry Potter and the Deadly Hollow Points. Where they couldn't, they weren't able to, they wanted to take on the Death Eaters. So if you remember that one scene from Boondock Saints where they go to the weapon dealer.
Uh-huh.
All right. It was a scene like that where they, where Hermione's like, I got a guy. All right. And they go down and they trade some magic stuff and he just outfits them with all of his weapons. All right. And the Death Eaters pop up and they're just mowing them down with freaking Uzis and AKs and whatnot. It was good. It was Harry Potter and the Deadly Hollow Points. Look it up.
Berto says last Muggle War, the humans massacred the wizards just before Hogwarts. So I got to ask, did they talk about human Muggle wars in the movies? I don't recall that.
No, that's probably a book thing.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I read the books when I was out at sea up in Alaska. So it was a long time ago that I read the books. It was a very chaotic environment, so I might not remember a lot.
I've heard some of those chaotic stories. There's some of the people I've talked to and asked questions. They always like, oh, in the book, it's this and this. And there's so much of it. I go, like, with one line, they could have thrown that in one movie, and that would have at least quenched, your
right. But keep in mind, they want people to have to lean into the books because the Harry Potter franchise is not just about the movies. It's about merchandising, and getting her books to move. And I think for a while there, her books were more read than the Bible,
which is scary. Hang on, I'm reading this that Jonathan written. I mean, I can see where the ministry comes in like a government and says, even if all the wizards, which obviously watching the movies, they don't all agree with whether to take over the Muggles or not. I could see where it's just that, like, kind of like our government says this, so we just go along with it.
And they over there, well, and I shouldn't just say they over there because, this is a worldwide organization, so it has to deal with American wizards as well. But they over in Europe are more used to following what their government says. I mean, don't get me wrong. Occasionally you have your French Revolution and, break out the guillotine. So they'll put up with it for a while, until it's time to put people up against a wall. But for the most part over there, they're more used to, towing the party line, one could say.
See, and part of the whole separating and why they even are hiding out, it dumbfounds me because then you have whole towns and stuff that are developed. Oh, you got a whole economy that is geared towards magic, right?
Yes.
To the magic people, and they're doing their own thing, but they also live in the Muggle world. So that's a lot of like jobs that people just have to kind of explain away to our Muggle government and paying taxes and all that. Like none of that would make sense. Like I work in a magic wand shop, during the day. That how are they paying their taxes on this? I know that it's a kids fantasy series, so I'm probably not too much into it. But looking at stuff like that, I'm like, you create a whole other society. So I'm just not sure how that works. I could go down that rabbit hole for a while.
Yeah, you're kind of taking it a little far into, you're now wondering how the bureaucracy works.
I know.
Maybe you're diving too deep into the shallow pool.
Well, I guess a lot of it while I was watching it was that how does the Muggle work and Wizard world work together? And the idea is the Muggle world has no idea. And the Wizard world with their hiding. So like, go ahead.
You see, in my personal vision of this, there are those in the higher up that do know, that are, for whatever reason, financially, bribery, or blackmail or whatever, are forced to keep it silent and smooth anything under your standard Men in Black kind of situation.
Berto says, remember the movies were made before the books were released?
No, the movies were beginning to be released before the last books were written.
There you go. Okay.
Right. She started off with the first couple of them, and they became so big that they started making the movies then. And she did not do a George R.R. Martin and wait 7 years between each frickin' book. She actually chunked them out.
Man, I keep thinking of different stuff, and I did not write this stuff in line, so I'm going to just kind of hit some of these top ones real quick. Why every year did they have a new Defense of the Dark Arts teacher? Is there something I missed there? Like every year they just fired the old one, got the new one. I get that, like one of them died.
They weren't fired. They weren't fired. All right. Every one of them, something happened to them, and they were ousted because the Defense of Dark Arts is so dangerous. All right. If you look at it, all right, every year the who was Lockhart, he's gone, got his memory gone.
Didn't Snape start out teaching it or not?
Snape eventually started teaching it.
Oh, I thought he started teaching at the begining and then, okay.
No, he was always potions.
Okay, was he? All right, then that was.
Yeah, remember the first Defense of the Dark Arts was Towelhead with Voldemort on the back of his skull. That was their first defense, dude.
Sorry, I was just reading this. Kristen said the actual people in the wizarding world actually don't mix. In the books, they use spells that hide their houses and things. That I knew. That was easy enough, but I get the whole hiding. It's just the why the hiding, I guess. But
if historically you hide and your whole culture, has been the hiding and everything's based around the hiding. I mean, I'm sure that there is a small but vocal minority in the wizarding community that says, why the hell are we doing this? But there's a larger majority that says, shut the hell up and do as you're told.
So I'm watching Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
And the movie before that, I believe he couldn't go on a field trip because he couldn't get a permission slip. And they were like, oh, can't we just make it? Nope, rules are rules, all this shit. He ends up going to that same place multiple times later with no permission slips. But
he's older.
Yeah, I guess. But he's still not 18 yet. But so in Goblet of Fire, he needs a permission slip to go on a trip. But then when Goblet of Fire comes up, he doesn't even have to ask his parents, that's
a school function.
It's a school function where he's most likely going to die, they say.
Plus, I believe not Severus. I believe that Cyrus Black, as his living relative, had signed, had given permission for stuff in absenteeism, and then that carried over.
Okay.
And also, this is a very important part to realize here. Okay, this is very important. It was in the script.
It was in the script. No. The Sirius Black thing makes, because he's his guardian. He could sign off. I could see that. That answers like 5 questions. Hang on a second. Okay. How the fuck did the twins open a shop right after they graduated? I thought they were poor as fuck. Not that it matters, but it's a question I had. Hang on. Let me read what everybody's saying.
They took out loans. Maybe Harry gave him a little bit on the side,
Yeah, Harry's rich, I guess. Yeah. Dota teaching.
Yeah, he's rich like the Adams are, just a big room full of gold.
Okay, director of dark arts teaching was a curse. Was a
Position.
curse because Voldemort tried to become the teacher and was denied. Oh, so the position itself was cursed, so people can't stay in it long or something.
If something would happen, something would happen that they would no longer be able to fulfill the position.
And real quick, not just trying to. Was that in the movie that I missed, or was that in the books?
I'm assuming it was in the books because I don't remember that.
I don't want to not read what people are posting because that's who I'm asking too.
Okay, I'm trying to go all the way back up to that. Hogwarts, Scotland. Was it past that?
They were selling the stuff at school. Oh, okay. All right, let me hit
yeah. They had a black market going on.
Okay. The hiding stuff, and this is just something I struggled with, and it might be a nothing. So, like the running into the brick wall to get to the train station, for example. First off, why the fuck do they even have a separate train? Just they should just in that train station have a train that goes to Hogwarts. The Muggles don't need to know that Hogwarts is a magic school. Just have a train here and a train here. You have a ticket for this one because you bought it at your magic shop. Why do they have to run into a brick wall to go to a whole nother train to get where they're going? Because it's not like it's in a mystic universe because they're able to fly the car to find the train later.
Because that is a literary thing where basically you're crossing the threshold. At that point, he was crossing the threshold into the magic realm. The same when they went into Diagon Alley. It was a special moving wall that allowed them to cross the threshold. It is something that allows you to go ahead and say, okay, this world is no more, and I'm now into this one. It's a literary mechanism. If you ask Suzanne Lambden, she could spell it all out for you. That is a basic thing.
I could follow that.
That's the reason. That's the reason. I mean, they've been able to point out that there is an actual thing with humans when we go through a doorway that will reset our brains a little bit. And that's the reason you walk into a room and you go, what the hell was I doing in here?
Okay, so I got two follow-ups to that.
Yeah, your brain resets when you go through a doorway, and that also works when it comes to a literary mechanism and also a visual storytelling.
That's what I was going to say with the doorway thing. They could have done that, but first off, so when they fly the car, so it's not a literary thing because it's just that's mental for us readers. I can go that because when they flew the car, they didn't have to go through anything, huh?
When they fly the car, what?
When they fly the car, they don't have to go through any threshold or anything. They just fly it.
That's a long trip to Scotland, dude.
Yeah, well, yeah. But so it's not a magic threshold. It's a mental threshold for the reader.
Yes.
Is what you're saying. I can get behind that. So why not, like, because they do that one thing where, like, they separate the buildings. Of course, we're hiding from Muggles, but we're separating buildings. Or we're running straight into a brick wall surrounded by Muggles.
Now,
why not just have a door and you go into that door and then you're crossing the threshold because Muggles are going to see you hitting a brick wall or walking into a brick wall.
Did you ever read any of the Douglas Adams books?
Oh yeah.
All right. If you remember Douglas Adams' book, they the second starship that Zaphoid steals, not the Heart of Gold. There was another one that they stole that had a pseudo cloaking device. All right. It wasn't a cloaking device that made it so that the ship would disappear. It was a cloaking device that made it so everybody just ignored. It was called a not my business device.
That sounds very familiar.
So that's basically what's happening here is they're not necessarily cloaking everything, from the Muggles. They're just making it so the Muggles aren't interested. If you pulled their attention to it, then they would go like, oh, hey, where did this come from? And that could be considered, like that's like a visual representation when the buildings go apart and you see that house there now, that they were, was there a safe house that they went to? All right. It's not necessarily that the buildings went apart. It's just that your perception of that house was all of a sudden there. So in order to have it all of a sudden there, they separated it so that
what
now
we're seeing is waving away the illusion. I could get behind that, but so in that, for example, in the train station, there's an illusion of a brick wall there. Other people are seeing them walk into a brick wall. Why not just have a door? People see them walk in the door, no questions asked. They see them run through a brick wall.
Because you also put the not my problem stealth field around it.
the
All right,
magic.
and people
It just seems like a
ignore
lot
that
of extra steps to get through open walk in, you know, but I get it's fantasy. Okay.
Exactly. It is a Rube Goldberg device.
And some
Make
of
as
these
many
easy
steps as
questions,
possible.
because everybody's answering pretty much like you said, that Harry had invested in the shop, gave him his winnings from the goblet. And I knew Harry was rich anyway. His parents left him a bunch of money or something.
Yep.
And the twins did have a lot of side hustles. So that
Very much so.
a simple answer like that makes sense. Also kind of thought of it as spells that make muggles ignore the turn away. Okay.
Right. But not my problem.
Yep.
It's a perception filter. Thank you, Jonathan.
What year is it? More wizards than people. Okay, it's always called witchcraft and wizardry. Everybody we've met, including the females, are all called wizards.
Yes.
I don't recall hearing a reference to a witch at all. Why do they call it witchcraft and talk about witch studies and stuff if we have no witches? Or did I miss it?
I think, well, twofold, a multiple fold. One is traditionally, women were considered witches and men wizards. So that's probably where she came up with her original naming scheme. All right. But also, when it comes to levels of proficiency, a witch would technically be considered a lower level of proficiency than a wizard.
Okay.
All right. So it'd be nursing and doctor.
So all
doesn't mean that the nurses don't know what the hell they're doing. It just means the doctors have more proficiency.
I was going to say, because I noticed, like, I kept thinking they might call Hermione a witch at some point because she's young. But
well, and I think that was when she was originally putting that together, and also it just sounds good. It's a good rhyming scheme. But I think when she was originally putting that together, she was thinking male, female, wizard, witch.
Well,
although, go ahead.
I watch these movies like on top of each other, so I keep thinking like they probably addressed some of this, and I missed it in the movie. So,
well, you probably, like I said, a lot of the wizardry and witchcraft. I don't remember that ever being addressed. But I think that would probably, fall under the guise of, it just was a good naming structure that she used.
Well, I could go over 100 more questions I got, but I got at least two more I want to address. And one's a big one because it's Quidditch. Why did Harry drop that resurrection stone in the last movie? He had it, went to all the trouble to get it, and then he just dropped it on the ground and walked away.
I don't remember. That'll have to be somebody else coming out with that.
Oh, they do call them witches in a few of the movies, I think. Okay, I might have missed that.
Yeah,
so, I don't know. He had that resurrection stone. It seems like something he could continue to use. It's something they sought for, and then he just drops it on the ground. I'm like, somebody else might just come pick that shit up, and I don't know. The last one is Quidditch. I know that Quidditch is a whole game, and there's a whole bunch behind it. When they did the World Cup, my first question there was, so that kid that was like the big superstar at the World Cup ends up going to the Goblet of Fire with Harry.
He's still in school.
He's still in school. But this is like the Quidditch. This is like the Super Bowl of professional Quidditch players, right?
Okay,
or
so
Quidditch only high schoolers.
So they don't necessarily have the separation of, of amateur and professional. If you're in school, you have to stay amateur and then go professional. He could have been so good that he was already scooped up by a pro team.
It just seemed I guess it seemed weird because my connection was, okay, so this is like the Super Bowl, and it'd be like, I don't know, the Tampa Bay coming and grabbing a high school student and going, "You're pretty good. Come on, we're gonna put you in our biggest game ever."
If they could, they would. Look at how many 14-year-olds are in the Olympics.
Fair point. All right. Berto had answered, I believe, to the stone. He said he accepted his death and moved on.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see that that's what they were.
Yeah, but it's still a very valuable item. Just to
you'd think you would hand it to Hermione or something, and
or anybody, maybe go find that freaking house elf that died and chuck it down his throat or something.
Well, just so that the
zombie elf
doesn't get a hold of it. So then okay, so Quidditch I could do forever on Quidditch, but so this is a game where, like, again, no permission slip needed for Quidditch when he first got there before he met Sirius, and he's flying fucking so high up he's getting fucking ice on his broom or whatever. I mean, he's like way up there, could die at any moment. That's okay. I don't get how that was okay, but I just don't get how Quidditch quite works in the, like you're saying, they just don't look at age. I can kind of
Okay,
get
and
past
also
that.
keep in mind, all of that Quidditch stuff was done on school grounds. That permission slip was needed to leave school
Okay,
grounds.
that's fair. But still, you'd think if you need a slip to leave school grounds, doing death-defying activity 300 feet in the air, even if it's on school grounds or not, because then it's
Well,
just an insurance issue at that point.
that's school airspace.
Yeah, but still, if your kid could die, but then again, it's a school full of trolls and hippogriffs
Yeah,
and everything else.
I mean, there's a certain amount of assumed risk.
Which was a question I want to ask the question again, but like with the hippogriffs and shit.
Yeah.
So why can't human smuggles see them? Did the wizards all cast spells on them? I mean, are there not hippogriffs flying into New York and just swooping down, grabbing lunch?
Once again, Men in Black.
Men in Black. There's just people around.
There's people going around with, their little red, thing. Yeah.
So they're just going around keeping people from knowing about the really dangerous magic creatures, but tigers and wolves and shit, that's all still cool. Rattlesnakes, don't mind. That's because they're not magic.
Anything that requires magic to exist.
So yeah, Kristen said, think of them more like the Olympics. Yeah, once Daryl said that, that makes a lot more sense to me. Johnson said Crum was like a senior and was picked up by the NFL or NBA. Okay, so with Quidditch, let's say, God, I had a ton of questions. I can only think of one now. The fucking little ball.
Okay, now keep in mind, all right, let's go under the assumption that the writer, J.K. Rowling, all right, is not a sports person.
Right.
She's not somebody who watches sports. She's not a sportsy, all right? Now, if you're a non-sports person and you're trying to come up with a magical game, it is going to be the weirdest Calvin ball shit you can think of.
I get that, and even learning how to play the game isn't so much a thing for me. It's little stuff like Harry coming in as a freshman who's never even seen a broom fly before is suddenly given the basic quarterback position, and there's 4 years of students here before him. Did they not have any quarterbacks already? Did they not have? He just was the best out the gate because he's Harry Potter. Was that?
And he was not a quarterback.
Well, it's not quarterback. It was the.
He was basically the field goal guy. All right. He had one job. One job was to try to catch the snitch. He was not to be involved with any of the other stuff going on of, bludger or whatever the hell, or running the ball or any of that stuff. His job was just to catch the snitch. The field goal kicker's job is just to kick the field goal. He's not to do any hits. He's not to take any hits. He's not to do anything else.
I don't. Well, and if that's saying field goal makes more sense, but that's not the way they portray it in the movies. They definitely portray it like
it's a game-winning item, much like the field goal can be the game-winning thing.
Yeah, but people aren't watching.
They don't always catch the snitch before the game's over. All right.
Remember, deaths are rare. Remember, kids die playing football and cheerleading
all the time.
Christy looked at me and said that the like when you can just like pour some liquid on somebody and fix their fucking brain injury, or wave a magic wand, it means a little bit more here.
If you can survive the accident for more than 5 minutes, you will probably live in the Harry Potter world.
So I say again, Ash, I'm sorry.
I said if you can survive an accident for more than 5 minutes, you will probably live in the Harry Potter world and make almost a full recovery.
Well, and there was a couple times too. I mean, if I wanted to pick stuff apart, I don't know how many times, because somebody fell off a broom or something one time. Hermione did, I don't know, Leviosa or whatever thing she did to keep them from hitting the ground.
Yep.
But then later they could have used that same spell like 20 different times in the series. Instead, they just let people hit the ground. Like, where the fuck was that then? But
Yeah.
that's storytelling. I get that.
Yeah, and also, like one of my always bitches is why, once again, why is magic always Latin based?
Because we look at that as a sign of intelligent and ancient wisdom.
Yes,
Why?
exactly. Why did demons always show up to Latin? You'd think they'd show up to Sumerian a lot more.
That actually makes sense. Oh man, it won't let me. All of a sudden, my feed just went boom, and it took me to the bottom. And I can't go back up.
Just 2 fingers on it and drag up. Not on the screen, dipshit.
Well, I was trying this like crazy. All right, hang on a second. I'm getting this. I feel like it was annoying spells. Sorry, hard to read and shit and chat too. All right. Those were my main questions because those are just, I guess, kind of continuity-ish questions.
There are not necessarily movie continuity questions; they're world continuity,
world building, and that's part of what drew me into wanting to watch this. Literally, was playing the video game with Jake and Rachel. Was they're talking about all the lore, and I'm like, oh, this is just like the expanded universe of like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings and all this, and I'm like, I should look more into this. And they're telling me all these things. Of course, the books are a big part of it. But then when you watch the movies, there's some stuff that's just like, again, like the date thing. I'm not picking anything apart. That seems like such an obvious question that if you don't ask it, you would just assume the whole thing was probably in the 60s.
Right.
No,
it's like,
not that it
for how long was our running joke about Star Wars that they never pull over for gas?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. And it wasn't until the, movie, let's see, 4, 5, 6, movie 8 or Han Solo that they address fuel.
Right. Did they actually address fuel? In episode 1, they actually had to stop and get parts or whatever.
Yeah.
But
they needed spare parts. They didn't need fuel. Yeah. All right. So the whole thing is that it all ran on Schwartz.
Right.
But yeah, so and that's the thing is just because it's the world has been built doesn't mean it's been entirely fleshed out.
Yeah, and that, I guess that's part of it too. Going into it, I know there's stuff that has been fleshed out since those movies have come out.
Mm-hmm.
With the video game and different books, and people are telling me, and just like with everything else, fucking Ghostbusters, everything. There's a book on different spirits and what they do and this and that. And they've released these kinds of things that are out there now. And I'm watching movies before all this was released. I know all this stuff's probably been explained, but I'm so behind on it that I feel like if I want to catch up at all, I'm either going to get frustrated with not knowing shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, Frankie had already filled me in on a number of things from the books, but there's still just so much. I would love to even do like a watch party. Not that I want to watch them all again. But it would be great so you could ask those questions.
Here's what you need to do, because I know, and this is not, I'm not negging you. All right, no, please keep that in mind. I know you're not a big reader.
Right.
All right. So possibly you should get the audiobooks.
Frankie offered me the audiobooks, and I just to say I love reading. I just don't ever have time.
I know. That was my thought. You could listen to them when you're driving places. You could listen to them as you're working on stuff. Maybe you should get the audiobooks.
Yeah, and that's probably what I'm going to do, and just start kind of listening to those as we're driving or whatever.
Yeah, and make sure that it's an unabridged audiobook.
I would be upset if if some of this stuff was never addressed. But almost every time I ask a question, people are like, "Oh no, it's in the books." Yeah, if you read the books,
Yeah, it's mostly addressed. It's mostly addressed. There's still going to be things that you won't be able to find. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. Well, and if I were to sit here and take any of my favorite movies, it would be so easy to pick them apart. Just like me watching Flash Gordon, there is so little scientific accuracy in that. It makes no sense, but it is just for fun and shits and giggles, and I get that. So, all right, we have been on for 20 minutes.
All right, I have to do this.
Okay.
All right, because this is, it is what it is. Just deal with it.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to share. This is how we're going to fill off. This was Harry Potter and the Deadly Hollow Points trailer.
Okay.
It's a 3-minute trailer. We're going to watch it.
And then after that, I want to say something quick about TsunamiCon, and we'll wrap.
Oh yeah, we definitely, because we're going to be there. All right, so screen it, and here we go. Share, and
my lord, it would appear that Potter and his friends have gone into hiding.
Sorry, I didn't know the subtitles.
Don't worry, my cunning little friend. In time, they will come to us.
Harry, we can't just keep running like this.
We need to fight back, but Voldemort's magic's too powerful.
Maybe it's time we try something besides magic.
Like what? Who did you say this muggle was again?
He's sort of a friend of a friend.
Right.
So I hear you got a little dark wizard problem. I think I got a few friends that can help.
Muggle weapons?
Hey kid, you let one of these loose on a magical dude, I don't care if he's Gandalf, Merlin, or freaking David Blaine. He's going down.
We have to try something.
Hermione's right. If magic won't solve our problems, maybe guns will.
Which ones do we take?
All of them.
You guys ready? What if I say no?
Ron, just remember to aim for the head or chest.
Which one's the safety again?
Now!
Because I've got friends with sniper rifles. Avada Kedavra.
Hold on.
Ron! It's time to bring out the big one! Okay, Harry. Massilius Lancioso!
Honestly, Ron, just pull the trigger!
Oh, right.
Great. Awesome.
Cute. I could get behind a movie like that. It kind of reminds me of like Highlander when they started coming out and with guns and shooting all the other guys to take them down, to just walk up and then chop off their head.
Yeah.
Wizards should be using guns and then just,
Oh yeah.
paired weapons, pistol in one.
It's always my thought. I mean, go ahead, try your little magic block and double out buckshot. Go for it.
Yeah, and all those other wizards that go, you're bad for using Muggle stuff. It'd be like, see how long you're around to bitch about that. Yeah.
All right, TsunamiCon.
TsunamiCon. Oh, the other thing I was to say about Harry Potter, man, I got to give that movie kudos. That series started out friendly to kids. By the end of it, it was dark as shit. I mean, it aged with its audience.
That was her point, was to age the books with her audience. That was one of her main concepts, because she was a mom.
Yep. All right. So TsunamiCon is this weekend, starts at 6:00 on Friday at the Broadview. I'm doing this out of memory, in Wichita. We will be there. Mikey Mason's coming in again to host everything. We're going to be there mostly playing games. So don't come thinking we're going to do WAG shows. We do every once in a while, but.
Do you want me to bring the Star Trek Attack Wing? We can try some of that.
Yeah. Because I'm signed up for Mikey Mason's game. And then other than that, I have the rest of the weekend to game as I wish. So Like Kristen's usually there. We'll play something together and do something stupid. But yeah,
Excellent.
yeah. So this weekend it's just a fun gaming weekend. It's our last show of the year, and it is literally one where we do nothing. We just go and have fun. So
Kristen said open ceremonies is at 6, but 1 p.m. is when it starts on Friday.
Thank you, Kristen. Yeah. So 1 p.m. is when it starts. Yeah, and it's a casual, fun weekend, and even if you don't sign up for games, they have games you can check out. They have vendors. I'll go in. I'll usually buy something, but I mean, even if you have nothing to do, you just walk over to the game library, pick something out, and some of those games, as you pick them out and play them, if you sign up for the list, some of our guys won games last year because they were doing giveaways and stuff. So it's a cool, fun thing.
Really quick, Jonathan, sorry we didn't get a chance to talk about your DIY project, but hey, if you make a video of doing it, like I did with my doing the model stuff, we'll share it up, the link, and we'll get you some traction on it, dude. So do that.
And Kelly had mentioned, I'd mentioned that Kelly knew the guy that bought the rights to the Necroscope movie rights.
Okay.
The vampire movie that we think they should make. He said he had just talked to him, and they are 100% making the Necroscope movie. So
that is excellent.
After that was over, Tim and Christy and I all sat around talking about Necroscope for a little while. They know it better than I do, but all right. So having that said, hugs and kisses.
We'll see you guys this weekend. We're going to try to shoot a quick Concast video and broadcast from the Broadview.
Sounds good.
Hey, that's where I got married.
It is. I remember that. Yeah.
I vaguely remember that. I was really drunk that day.
Well, I remember your wife going bridezilla because they forgot to bring the Guinness.
Dude, we paid money for those kegs, and that was supposed to be an open bar for you guys. And then they were charging you for the bar.
I don't remember the charging. I remember them not having Guinness, though.
No, not only did they not have Guinness, but they were not giving out the free beer because we purchased 2 kegs. So it was free beer for you guys. And I remember I went over to you guys to the table of Wags, and I was like, "Are you guys drinking the beer?" Yeah. And they're like, "Yeah, but man, it's expensive for a glass of beer." I was like, "What do you mean expensive? That's supposed to be free." No, they charged us. I was like, "Oh shit."
Let me go get that up to old management, because the management there now, I dig. They do well now.
Okay.
But that was before I ever did any kind of event there or anything too. So
okay.
All right. Well, let's tie it up because I got supper to go eat and new Harry Potter movies to go watch. So see you guys.
Bye all.